This is PSN Newsrun, streaming exclusively on YouTube.
Today on PSN Newsrun, Lagos State doctors embark on 3 days warning strike amidst plea from government, and NAUS calls for action as Nigerian students in Ghana study in fear amidst xenophobic threats. This and more on PSN Newsrun. Healthcare services in Lagos have been disrupted as public doctors begin a 3-day warning strike, citing unpaid allowances, salary deductions, and poor working conditions. Let's hear Joycelyn on this.
A fresh crisis has hit Nigeria's healthcare system. In Lagos, doctors across public hospitals have embarked on a 3-day warning strike. The strike is in response to salary deductions, unpaid allowances, and delayed promotions. Outpatient clinics are short, effective surgeries are suspended, and pressure is mounting on emergency units. The doctors under the Medical Guild accuse the Lagos state government of violating previous agreements, including failure to pay the 25% hazard allowance and irregular tax deductions. The Guild says this strike is a final warning after months of dialogue with no real action from the government. This situation highlights a wider pattern of neglect in Nigeria's health sector. Healthcare workers are leaving the country in large numbers. Joycelyn Ella Keche, Ada, PS News.
Meanwhile, amid the growing pressure on the healthcare system, the Lagos state government has appealed to all the striking doctors to suspend their ongoing 3-day warning strike and return to the negotiation table. Teza shares the government's plea with us.
In a swift response to the 3-day warning strike by public doctors in Lagos, the state government is now urging doctors to stand down and return to work. The appeal follows the disruption of outpatient services and scheduled surgeries across major hospitals, leaving patients stranded and emergency units overstretched. Health Commissioner Akin Abayomi said the government is open to dialogue and has already begun reviewing the concerns raised from salary deductions to unpaid allowances and delayed promotions. The strike, led by the Medical Guild, is still in effect, but pressure is mounting as negotiations kick off behind closed doors. Doctors say the government must back its words with action, and unless concrete steps are taken immediately, the strike may evolve into a full-scale shutdown. Teza Phillips, PS News.
The National Association of University Students, NAUS, has raised alarm over rising xenophobic protests in Ghana, demanding urgent protection for Nigerian students and citizens or risk nationwide backlash in Nigeria. Joycelyn's got the details on this.
The National Association of University Students, NAUS, is calling out the Ghanaian government over growing xenophobic protests targeting Nigerians living and studying in Ghana. In recent days, disturbing images have emerged, Ghanaians carrying placards with anti-Nigerian messages during protest, sparking fear and anxiety among Nigerian students and residents. NAUS Deputy President, Comrade Mishak Anthony Iyanuoluwa, says this goes beyond isolated anger. It's a direct threat to the lives and dignity of Nigerians living in Ghana. According to him, this is not just protest, it's an indictment of our collective humanity. NAUS is demanding that the Ghanaian government publicly denounce xenophobia, deploy adequate security, and safeguard all Nigerian communities, especially around universities. They've set a 72-hour ultimatum. If no action is taken, NAUS threatens to mobilize protests across Nigeria, including shutting down Ghanaian-linked businesses operating in Nigerian cities. Nigerian students in Ghana, over 10,000 of them, are now on urge. These young people who left home simply to get an education, not to become targets of hate. NAUS isn't just pressing Ghana. They're also calling on the Nigerian government to step up, demanding immediate action from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Nigerian High Commission in Accra, and NIDCOM. This growing diplomatic strain between two ECOWAS allies is a test of leadership on both sides. As the NAUS deadline looms, the world is watching how Ghana will respond. Reporting for PS News, Joycelyn Ella Keche Ada.
Once again, Lagos State is making the headlines, but this time on the power sector. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NEC) has approved a critical fiber optic upgrade on the Omotosho-Ikeja West transmission line, causing planned power outage across Lagos and Ogun from July 28 to August 21. Marianne files in this report.
Lagos and part of Ogun states are bracing for intermittent power outage, but this time it's not a crisis. It's part of a major national power upgrade. The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has received the green light from NERC and the Nigerian Independent System Operators to begin installation of an optical ground wire (OPGW) on the Omotosho-Ikeja West 330 kV transmission lines, one of the main entries delivering bulk electricity into Lagos. The upgrade, which runs from July 28th to August 21st, will take place daily from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., during which the affected transmission line will be shut down temporarily. Powers will be restored each evening, but the disruption will be persistent across parts of Lagos and Ogun State. This planned outage is directly linked to the blackout notice already issued to residents, banks, and businesses in Lagos and Ogun. It's all part of this infrastructural overhaul. The purpose: to lay OPGW fiber cables, which will supercharge Nigerian SCADA system, the digital backbone for real-time control, data acquisition, and grid stability across national transmission network. Once completed, this upgrade will allow for faster fault detection, improved communication between substations, and ultimately a more stable grid. Think of it as moving from a blindfolded manual control to real-time digital intelligence. For Lagosians feeling the pinch, this is short-term pain for long-term gain. The outage may be inconsistent now, but the end result promises to be efficient and reliable power system for the entire region. Marianne Awia, PS News.
And on the international scene, world leaders have gathered at the United Nations for a delayed conference on the Israeli-Palestine two-state solution, but the absence of the US and Israel cast doubt on its impact amid ongoing conflict in Gaza. Let's join Joycelyn for the details.
A major diplomatic moment is unfolding at the United Nations, but two key players are missing. This week, dozens of ministers from around the world are meeting in New York for a long-delayed conference aimed at reviving the push for a two-state solution between Israel and Palestine. The conference, hosted by France and Saudi Arabia, was supposed to happen in June, but was delayed after tensions escalated between Israel and Iran. The goal is to create a clear roadmap towards the establishment of a Palestinian state, while ensuring Israel's security, a long-standing but elusive goal in Middle East peace efforts. But there's a problem. Israel and the United States are boycotting the conference. Washington calls the meeting a gift to Hamas, arguing that it undermines ongoing ceasefire efforts and hostages still held in Gaza. Israel echoes that sentiment, saying the talks ignore key issues like the return of hostages and the condemnation of Hamas. Meanwhile, France is pushing forward. Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot confirmed that France will recognize a Palestinian state in September and hopes to rally other nations to do the same at the UN General Assembly. Over 143 countries already back the idea of Palestinian statehood, but without US support and with Israel's continued resistance, any diplomatic breakthrough remains distant. The backdrop to all of this is a brutal 22-month war in Gaza. Since Hamas' October 7th attack that killed 1,200 people in Israel, nearly 60,000 Palestinians have reportedly died in retaliatory strikes, according to Gaza health authorities. Despite growing international momentum, the divide between symbolic recognition and practical peace remains wide. Without the involvement of key players like the US and Israel, the road to a two-state solution still looks more aspirational than achievable. Reporting for PS News, Joycelyn Ella Keche Ada.
You just watched PSN Newsrun, streaming exclusively on YouTube. This is your trusted voice for news that matters. Subscribe, like, share, and stay informed.